like and subscribe. Let's grow NAIA basketball. Thank you. Cascade Hoops Talk, bringing the world NAIA basketball one podcast at a time. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Well, it's Wednesday, January 3rd. Not only one top 25 game, couple other games we want to talk about. I want to also update you on several conferences. A lot of big games this week already. We'll go through that, and then we're going to talk to Ben Limback. He's the head men's basketball coach, Concordia Bulldogs. They've had a great few years, as you know. They have a couple great players. You know, Noah Shutt is one of the best players in the country, and then Tristan Smith. We'll talk about those guys with Coach Limback. But why don't we just go ahead and kick it off? There's only one top 25 game last night. That was Florida Memorial. They took on Concordia University out of Quebec. This Concordia team out of Quebec was pretty pesky and tough. Florida Memorial really had a hard time shaking them. They finally did at the end. They won the game 74-68. Florida Memorial, they go to 12-1. In this game, Darius Ward, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He really filled up the stat sheet, as they say. Evan Busby, 13 points. Good win for Florida Memorial. They'll get into Sun play on Saturday, and they're going to take on Warner. Another big game, Tennessee Southern is 7-1 now. Southern State's big win against Faulkner tonight. They beat them 81-74. Darian Hudson, 21 points, and Kobe Isaac, 13 points, 4 rebounds. Big win for Tennessee Southern tonight. There was action all across the AAC, the Appalachian Conference. The key games here, Columbia International, right here, they beat Truett McConnell. And then if we scroll down, see if it'll let me. Union beat Montreat 97-77, and then Pikeville beat Bryan. Okay, so that was the outcome tonight. And so let's go back. Let's look at the standings now. That conference has played a ton of games. So right now, if you look at the AAC standings, Pikeville is 9-2, Columbia International is 9-2, and then Union is 9-2. Everybody else is at least a couple of games back. So that seems to be the race. It's a good AAC race. You know, the last few years, it seems that Union has really dominated that conference. Pikeville obviously is new to it, but Columbia International is having a very good year. Let's take a look at a couple other conferences. The Chicagoland, they've also played several games. Roosevelt is 6-0 in conference. You know, they lost the non-con to St. Francis the other day, but they're going to be okay. They're 5-0. Indiana South Bend is also 5-0. Olivet Nazarene 3-1. St. Xavier. So it's a tight race. There's six teams that are, well, 7 teams it looks like that are right in it. Let's take a look and see what's going on in the Chicago Conference over the next few days. So Saturday, this right here, this Olivet Nazarene at Indiana Northwest, that could be a key game. And Roosevelt at St. Xavier, every game is important. You guys know that. But those are a couple games to really keep an eye on. And then Wednesday the 10th, Holy Cross is going to travel to Olivet Nazarene, St. Ambrose to Roosevelt, and St. Xavier is going to travel to Indiana South Bend. And this game, we'll have to see how time will tell. But this game on the next Saturday after next, I guess, Olivet Nazarene has to go to Governor State. That just screams upset all over it to me. We'll have to see how that game. It's a good one to watch. That'll be a competitive game. So let's take a look. Now watch. Olivet Nazarene will win the game by 45. The Crossroads League, there's not very many games played in that. Obviously, Grace is 3-0. Not enough games really to make a story yet. But here's the story. This is tonight. Huntington is at Mount Vernon. Bethel is at St. Francis, and Indiana Wesleyan's at Spring Arbor. Those are all really good matchups, very important games. It'd be a good test for Spring Arbor. If you haven't watched him, Gabe Newhoff, I think he's a sophomore for the Cougars. I joke, I say he scores 34 against everybody. Of course, Indiana Wesleyan's gonna, they're loaded up too, so that's gonna be a good game. Bethel with Clay Hilliard coming back from injury. He's a really good 3-point shooter, and they have huge inside guys, but Drew Lutz was having to do most of the scoring from the outside, and with the addition of Hilliard, they're really, really tough right now. Huntington is playing better basketball. They stumbled early on, and Coach Ronay's Mount Vernon Nazarene, they are a very good basketball team. So those are going to be some good games. And then, I already went through that. In the GPAC, Hastings surprised everybody. They're not surprising anybody anymore, but they're 6-0 in the conference. Northwestern is 5-1, Morningside 5-1, Concordia 4-2, and then Dort's 4-3. This typical GPAC conference right here. Everybody's getting bunched up here at the top. Let's see what's going on this week. So a couple non-cons, but tonight Concordia is at Jamestown. Jamestown, I think, they're down in the standings, but you have to travel all the way up there to Jamestown. It's a hard place to play. Great tradition up there. That's an anything can happen game. And then this coming Saturday, Dakota Wesleyan is going to travel to Concordia. That's going to be a good game, but this could be the game of the week right here. Morningside is going to Hastings. Morningside at Hastings. So on Saturday, January 6th, mark your calendar. That's a game you want to check out. Another game that could have potential. We'll see what records are by the following Wednesday. But Briarcliff at Northwestern. Briarcliff stumbled a little bit, but I believe that they still got a lot of fight in them. Also, when Morningside goes to Dakota Wesleyan, that's going to be a battle as well. They're all important. Everything's a battle in the GPAC and the Crossroads and the AAC. Every conference is tough. So speaking of Concordia traveling up to Jamestown, Coach Ben Limback, he was in the bus on the way up to Jamestown, and he took a moment to talk to us. And I apologize to Concordia fans and to Coach Limback. I actually had some technical problems, which put me behind. I didn't get as much time with Coach Limback as I really wanted, but he was a sport. We'll get him back on a little bit later when we've played a few more games in the GPAC. But let's take a listen to Coach Ben Limback, Concordia University Bulldogs. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. I got Ben Limback. He's the head men's basketball coach at Concordia Bulldogs. Thanks, Ben, for being on the show.
You bet. A pleasure, and Happy New Year.
So I understand you're on the bus going up to Jamestown. I think you guys are 9-3 right now, right?
I believe so, yep.
Yeah, so you're 9-3, and the GPAC, now that you've had you went over to Hawaii, you played over there, we'll talk about that in a moment. You're pretty much now into the GPAC race. The question I had for you is, getting through the preseason up till the first of the year, everybody's looking at the top 25, and I know your players are looking at it. And if you can't break into that earlier, it's hard to break in. But at the end of the day, and you know this, the important prize, regardless of top 25, is you've got to do very well in the GPAC. How do you communicate that to your players when they see, well, we can't break in the ratings and all that? Get them to focus on, we got to win the GPAC.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. I think all of us are about the daily process. You want to be, focused on getting better each day. And I think, our goal, you want to be in the top 25. It looks great. And especially at the end of the year, that's the stuff that matters. But as you mentioned, you win your league, or you do really well in your league. And especially in our league, the GPAC, we've had a lot of success at national tournaments, and our league does well and overall. And I think you you finish at the top and near the top of your league, normally you're getting to where you want to get, which is a good position in the national tournament.
Exactly.
I think that's our goal, and certainly we're jumping right back in there here this week.
I was looking at your schedule, Coach Limback. You're heading up to Jamestown. I don't care what the record is. That's a tough trip. They're going to give you a game and a half, and then you come back, turn right around. You got to drive all the way back. You play Dakota Wesleyan, same thing. I mean, you can't even look at the records. It's Dakota Wesleyan, and then you got to take on Doane, and then Dort, then Hastings, and that's the first half of January.
Right.
Just talk about the GPAC this year. I know you've been paying attention to it. It looks really tough.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. You got Hastings, who right now is undefeated in our league and has had some good quality wins. They beat Northwestern and won at Dort, and I think they're for real. We saw them out in Hawaii with us, and again, we haven't played them yet, and I think they're sitting at the top right now. But then you got teams that are in the top 25. Northwestern and Morningside, and those are teams that are also in the hunt. And you got Dort and us and Briar Cliff, and certainly teams that are vying for position still. Where I think it's just a very deep league. I don't know if there's going to be a team that necessarily runs away with it this year, but it should be a good dogfight, and I think that's kind of what you want to prepare yourself for that national tournament.
Yeah, it's really shaping up. It's every year. I made the joke at the start of the year that everybody in the GPAC is tied, and by the end of the season, they'll all be within half a game. Let's talk about the Bulldogs a little bit. You've got 3 juniors that you're really counting on. Obviously, Noah Shutt, the All-American, and Tristan Smith. They're averaging over 40 points, 20 rebounds, and then Bradley Bennett, the other junior. Coach Limback, when I first looked at it, I thought, okay, he's got 3 guys. I was thinking, are you playing them too much? Are you count? But I'm looking through your minutes. You're getting a lot of, I call maintenance minutes out of a lot of players that are able, so you don't have to keep these high scores on the court the whole time. Talk about your team.
Yeah, no, it's a unique team this year. We've talked quite a bit this year, just with the interesting dynamic in the lineups, and we have you mentioned Noah Shutt and Tristan Smith. I mean, they're playing at a very high level. Both almost averaging double and giving you consistency every night, and they command double teams. They get to the line. I mean, they're just 2 inside forces that we have the luxury to put on the floor a lot together, and then you can split them up and rest them at different times. But we also play 6 freshmen at consistent minutes, and so we got a good balance of experience, but then some young guys that are helping push the level of our team each day in practice. And, that's kind of a unique thing within our league. I mean, there's not many teams in our league that are as young as maybe we are in a lot of minutes, but I think it'll help us down the stretch when we're not playing and logging these heavy minutes with our upperclassmen, and we play maybe 12, 13 guys some nights. And so I've never really had a team like this, but it's certainly been fun and a joy to work with, and it's always led by your upperclassmen, your leaders, and we certainly have a good leadership group.
As I said, I think the best part when you look back through your box score is you're able to keep Noah Shutt and Tristan down to 30 minutes a game, which is important early on, because as the season winds up, you might have to shorten your bench, and you don't want to play them 38 minutes all for 28 games.
Yeah, no, that's huge, especially just the way they play. They're very athletic and they play hard. So it's to save some of those legs, in games and also down the stretch is going to be important.
I want to talk about your Hawaii trip. You went over, you played San Francisco State. I think that's NC2A Division II, isn't it?
Yep, it sure is.
And you lost a heartbreak to them. But I got to give a lot of credit to your guys. They came back the very next day. They had to play Olivet Nazarene the very next night, and you beat them by 5. Just talk about that Hawaii trip and what it meant for your team.
Yeah, no, it's a huge thing for us just to get outside of Midwest, and some guys hadn't flown. So you see the sights, you get the beautiful scenery and the beautiful weather of Hawaii, and chance to get away, but also 2 high-level games. I mean, we played an NCAA Division II team who's good. I mean, they're not one of those lower-level ones, and we had a couple shots in the last few possessions to win the game, and they're certainly competitive. But But yeah, you got to bounce back the next day and play a team who Olivet having a great year, and I mean, you talk about a balanced senior-led team. I mean, they're
Yeah.
well coached and they're in a good situation in their league, and they're going to be a team that at the national tournament will have a chance to make a run, and two great teams going at it and back and forth, and we were able to pull away double overtime, and just really pleased with our ability to break that tough loss the night before and then bounce back early the next day and win a tough game.
Coach, what is it going to take for the Bulldogs to do well in the GPAC this year? What are the things that you need to have happen?
Yeah, well, we got to stay healthy. That's a big part of it, always with every team, but certainly, our ability to score. We're one of the top in the country right now in points per possession scoring, and I think that's great. But I think we have to be able to defend every night consistently and take care of the basketball. And those are the kind of the underlying things for every team probably. But I feel like with this group we got to just stay tough defensively and value the basketball. And I think we'll have a shot here. And I'm excited for what this team could turn into here in the next few months and see what we got.
Well, I'll tell all the fans anywhere around Seward, you got to get out and watch this Bulldog team. Concordia is a very good team, but also all these GPAC teams that come in. Yep. I mean, you're going to see some great basketball. So if you're not getting to those games now, you need to get out and watch this NAIA basketball there in Seward. It's a big deal there, isn't it, Coach?
Oh, it's great. We have great community support and love our student body. And certainly, like you said, the GPAC basketball is a fun brand to watch. And all NAIA hoops is great basketball. And I think, it's something that if you haven't seen it live, you need to come out and check out any NAIA game.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking a couple of minutes to talk to me while you're on your way up to Jamestown. Wish you luck up there. That's going to be you just know it's going to be a war, don't you? That's going to be a tough game.
Yep. Should be a fun game.
Should be a fun game. We'll get you back on as the GPAC progresses, and we'll see how you're doing there.
Sounds good.
Hey, thanks a lot. Good. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Billy D. Appreciate your work.
That's Ben Limback. He's the head men's basketball coach, Concordia Bulldogs. Thanks a lot, Coach.
You bet. Thank you.
Hey, thanks very much to Coach Limback. He's a trooper. He got a hold of me from the bus. Probably the last thing he wanted to do was talk to me, but he gave me a call, and that's a great program. I was able to be around that program at Kansas City. I got to know Brevin Slope, who, as you know, he played for the Bulldogs. There's all kinds of great teams and great people around the NAIA, but it's that team just kind of struck me. They kind of had a special family feel, and I got to know Coach Limback, and I just appreciate the time he gives me. I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to reach out one more time. If you're a person who's interested in doing what I'm doing, if you ever watch the on-court interviews or the coach interviews, the stand-up interviews after game, 1 to 2 minute interviews, I'm kind of landlocked, right? I can only travel so far. If you're somebody who's interested in doing that, I can certainly, give you a platform. I can tell you how to easily get started. I can, make sure you have all the right stuff, and it's really not very expensive or tricky to get into, but I can certainly walk you through it, and I'll give you a platform for what you do. So if you're interested in that, just reach out to me, and we'll see if we can set that up. Also, if you're an SID, if you're the head coach and you want to be on the show and I haven't reached out to you, just give me a note on Twitter or on CascadeHoopsTalk@gmail.com, CascadeHoopsTalk@gmail.com. Let's get you on Cascade Hoops Talk. Well, there's a lot of big games tonight. Make sure you turn your TV on and watch some of this great basketball tonight, and we'll catch you tomorrow. It's going to be a loaded day the next couple of days. Thank you.